Good afternoon, guys, and happy Friday. I hope everybody's doing well. Today's video is going to be a little bit of a slideshow. The Dom DeLuise video that I did a couple of weeks ago got a pretty good reception, so I thought I would do something just a little bit similar today. Now, in 2015, I made the trip down to Plains, Georgia to go down to a presidential auction hosted by Jimmy and Rosalind Carter. And the goal of this trip was to meet the both of them and just to kind of take a tour of the town, catch up on some presidential history. This is the road that comes into Plains. Just on the right-hand side down is the downtown area. The downtown area is really only about 5 or 6 buildings long. It's a very small town, but everybody here knows each other, and it's just a very comfortable place to be. Now, this is the Billy Carter service station, which was owned and operated by Jimmy Carter's brother, Billy. And he was quite a character around town. He passed away in the late 80s. It hasn't been opened in quite a while, but it is a tourist attraction in the area. If you want to read through the plaque, just go ahead and give it a pause, and I'll catch up to you in a second. Now, Plains is proud of two different things. They're proud of peanuts, and they're proud of Jimmy Carter. And everywhere you go in here, there is signs about Jimmy Carter. There is political campaign memorabilia, pretty much everywhere. And Jimmy Carter, I'm not sure how he's been since COVID, but before that, you would see him around town. He would ride his bike through town. He does still have Secret Service. He lives about a mile down the road from here. And it's very common to see him come into the hardware store to pick up tools. He's a woodworker. At 97 years old, he's still incredibly active. And everybody in the community knows him and loves him. This is just outside of the post office. I just thought that this was kind of funny. Now, this is an old train depot that also doubled as Jimmy Carter's presidential campaign headquarters. Inside, it's very small, probably about the size of a small office now. Kind of hard to believe that he ran a presidential campaign through here, but it is open to the public. Now, when I got into town, I had made a reservation at a place called the Plains Historic Inn, if I remember right. I think that's what it was called. But Jimmy Carter is very hands-on with this place. Him and Rosalind designed the rooms here. And I think they even did a lot of the work themselves, and I think Jimmy Carter actually does some of the maintenance here on his own. But there was a TV up here, there was a couple of chairs, there's a balcony outside, and you can see Jimmy Carter up here every once in a while. Now, this is a family photo album that belongs to Rosalind Carter that's upstairs for people to look through while they stay here. As you can see, she puts her nameplate on here. And as you can tell by the residue, several people have probably pulled this off and kept it as a souvenir, which is unfortunate. But this is some of their personal stuff in here. Now, this is what it looked like inside my room. This inn is taken care of day to day by a woman named Miss Jan. You know, in the South, people are formal and they're friendly and they refer to people as Mr. or Mrs. with their first name. Now, this is what the bathroom looked like. It was kind of cool, an older tub. But once again, I was here for it's called the Plains Presidential Auction, and they used to have it an annual thing. It's a fundraiser for the community. They have it in the community center that's right behind this inn, and the community center holds maybe 60, 75 people, if I had to guess, and they get together. Jimmy and Rosalind show up. A lot of townspeople show up, people from out of town, and Jimmy donates everything from artwork to some awards, various things around their house that they're looking to either get rid of or just raise money with. But I was kind of curious to see what they had, so I made arrangements to come down and visit. Now, the presidential auction was being held on a Saturday night. The Friday night before, I was told that Jimmy was here, and he came up and sat in the chairs in the main area and was talking to people, and he's just a normal guy around here. Everybody calls him Mr. Jimmy. Nobody calls him, Mr. President or anything like that. He's just another ordinary citizen here, which I think is kind of cool. But this is the deck and my view from the room. Now, when I went to the charity auction, there was a lot of people outside. Everybody seemed to know each other. Everybody knew that I wasn't from Georgia. And people made a real effort to introduce themselves to me and to welcome me to town, which I'm not really used to being from the Chicago area. Nobody's like that here. So so we all went in, everybody took their seats, and then Jimmy came in and he shook everybody's hand, said hello to everybody, pretty much gave everybody a personal greeting, which I'm told that he also does this on airplanes. He still flies public or commercial, and he'll go through the aisles and he'll introduce himself personally to everybody on the plane. So I sat down next to an older lady and we got to talking, and she asked if I had ever met the Carters. And at that point, I hadn't. So she introduced herself, and she ended up she was Rosalind Carter's sister. And she said, "Okay, I'll introduce you to him as soon as the auction's over and they come around." So she did just that. And she first introduced me to Rosalind, which here we are right here. And Rosalind asked me if I'm staying over on that Saturday, and she said that if I was going to be there on Sunday, that I should go to the church up the street. She said that that they would save me a seat, and so I didn't really think too much of it. A lot of people say stuff like that and don't actually mean it. So I was planning on going to that church service anyway, because anybody that knows or lives in Plains knows that Jimmy Carter routinely teaches Sunday school at Maranatha Baptist Church in Plains. He's been doing this for years and years and years. So I figured, okay, a personal invitation from the former First Lady is kind of cool. And here's Jimmy speaking. And after he got done speaking, Rosalind introduced me to him also. He shook my hand, welcomed me to Plains. And he also said, you should come to church tomorrow. If you're not going to, we'll save a seat for you. And I mean, what president says something like that to somebody they just met? And, what president is really allowed to? But, Secret Service kind of checks you out and makes sure that you're not a threat and all that. But, so I thought that this was pretty cool. Now, this is Maranatha Baptist Church, where Jimmy and Rosalind attend church. And this is also where he teaches Sunday school. Now, I don't think he's done this in the last couple of years, but he has still been seen here in recent times. But people show up here sometimes 2, 3 in the morning to line up so that they can get in. And I think the inside holds around 200 people. I could be wrong, but it's somewhere like that. And if you don't make it into the sanctuary, people will be in the back rooms. People can be outside and they can broadcast what's going on inside. But it's really quite a spectacle, and people come from all over the world. Now, before the Carters show up, Secret Service does walk-arounds. They bring the dogs. They make sure that there's no issues with the building, that there's no weird people hanging around. It's still their job to protect him 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. So there is a large Secret Service presence. They do drive him around in a couple van detail. But I showed up, and the lady running the door, or working the door, was Miss Jan, who I had met staying at the Plains Inn. And I kind of joked to her and I said, "Yeah, I met Jimmy and Rosalind last night and they said they'd save me a seat." And she said, "Oh, yeah." And she took me into the church. She took me into the front row in the absolute center, like front and center, right there. So when Jimmy came out, he comes out to speak and he asks everybody where they came from and all that. And then he gives his speech. He saw me up front and he smiled and acknowledged me when he first came in. And then they allow people to take pictures only during the time that he is asking people where they came from. After that, they ask you to put away your cell phones and to, kind of show him the respect and actually listen to him. And everybody does. Now, here's a picture I took of Jimmy when he was asking everybody where they were from. Now, when I said that they put me front and center, they put me front and center. I mean, I was really this close to him. And it was just an absolutely awesome experience. If you've never gotten a chance to go and check out Plains, Georgia, I highly recommend it. Everybody there is very accommodating, very friendly. And, just from the standpoint of history and presidential history. And, Jimmy Carter, he wasn't just a president. He's authored so many books. He's won awards. He's, with Habitat for Humanity, he's been building houses. Just a fabulous human being. And to make time, being a former president, to kind of to welcome somebody he doesn't know to his town and be that welcoming, it just blew me away. Now he speaks for a little while, and then he every Sunday he gives a different lesson. Now this is what the church looks like from the back. As you can see, it's a very nice church, but it's not something that you would expect to see a president in every week. Now here's the other fun thing. If you go and you attend this Sunday school, and he's been doing this for years, I'm not sure exactly how long, but if you attend the church service, Jimmy and Rosalind Carter stick around after the service to meet and take pictures with everybody who shows up. And at their age, that is unheard of. I mean, there's no president in history that I can think of that has been that accessible to people. Now, here's a picture that I took with them at the end of the service. And the neat thing about this is that they thanked me for coming. They said, it was great meeting you. I hope you have a safe trip back. And the nice thing is that I took this photo and I sent it to him in care of the Carter Center in Atlanta, Georgia. And I asked him if he would sign this photo for me. About a month later, I got this photo back. It was signed to me by President Carter and by Rosalind. And he also put in a handwritten note on a little sheet of paper that said, it was addressed to me, and it said, "Thank you so much for coming to see us and to come back again soon." Now, the class that it takes to respond to something like that in such a personal way is just absolutely awesome. But I hope that you guys enjoyed this story, and I'm going to try to post more videos like this as long as you guys enjoy them. But thank you so much for listening and watching the video. And sorry that there wasn't really much for video on this, but years ago when I made trips like this, I wasn't thinking about YouTube. I wasn't thinking about making videos or anything like that. So some of these, all I have are still photos. But anything future that comes up, I'll have video. But for stories from the past, this is how I might have to do it. But thanks again so much, you guys, and have a great weekend, and I will catch you later.